Hey guys, I received another copyright strike, this time on my latest video called Passengers, which I find really interesting because I uploaded this on November 17th a couple days ago, and today is the 19th, and now I'm only getting a copyright strike, which I find very odd. As you can see, there's been over 2,000 views on this video so far, 45 likes, 8 dislikes, many comments, and 2 days later, they're actually sending a copyright strike, which I find very strange. And I'm starting to think that, maybe I'm striking a chord or hitting a nerve with these people, with these elite people behind the Hollywood establishment who are trying to program us. But anyways, I have to remove the trailer, which I find, again, really odd because trailers should be able to be viewed by anybody. But hey, it is what it is. And sorry that I have to take out the trailer for this movie Passengers, but I will leave a link in the description box so that you can view the trailer for yourself. Alright, so please enjoy the rest of this video and God bless you.
There's a reason we woke up early.
Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt star in an intriguing and upcoming film called Passengers, slated later for this year. Now, this film is littered with New World Order themes and major Cube of Saturn worship. Of course, these two actors are no strangers to doing work in these kinds of movies, but let's just take a look at what is going on here, and from some information I'd like to show you. I hope you will see the symbolism that I speak of and what I believe we're being shown. Now, the storyline goes, the spaceship, Starship Avalon, in its 120-year voyage to a distant colony planet known as Homestead, or as the Homestead Colony, and transporting 5,259 people, has a malfunction in two of its sleep chambers. As a result, two hibernation pods open prematurely, and the two people that awake, Jim Preston, who's played by Chris Pratt, and Aurora Dunn, played by Jennifer Lawrence, are stranded on the spaceship, still 90 years from their destination. So let's just break down some of these things that we're seeing even in the trailer. As it opens up, we see Jennifer Lawrence sitting in what looks like a womb or a portal. Of course, this number 9 seems to show up a lot, 90 years away from their destination. And of course, there happens to be just 9 rocks sitting right in the middle of this room, which we know is a major New World Order number. As we keep going in the trailer, we see a shot of them going on a date. They are sitting at the bar, I guess, which is on the spaceship. And wouldn't you know it, major Saturn symbolism going on here. We've even got the IXXI, on the wall here. If we look at this from a three-dimensional standpoint, you could be looking at the top of a pyramid and all this kind of thing going on right here on the wall. And what I find even more interesting, if we take a closer look even at the bartender, we'll see what is he wearing? None other than these New World Order colors. Okay, and I always, sometimes I get questions as to why why red, black, and white are New World Order colors. Well, of course, the Nazi flag was a New World Order, or at least an experiment for the New World Order, and many New World Order themed movies such as V for Vendetta, or even movies like Hunger Games. We know that Jennifer Lawrence also played in that movie, and here we go, the symbolism right there, black crow, red outfit, white in the background, the same red, black, and white symbolism. Of course, we've got the one eye symbolism there as well. Same in this movie poster, again, the one eye symbolism, as well as, again, the black, red, and white colors that are happening here. All right, so we see this, going on a regular basis in lots of these movies. We've got the red, black, and white color symbolism. We've also got what looks to be a pagan god in the background, whether it's a Buddha, whether it's some other statue, seems to be or could be a pagan god that we are looking at, an idol. But as the bartender rolls away, we see what he really is. Okay, he is none other than a cyborg. Major New World Order theme of transhumanism is going on here. And, we see this kind of thing played out a lot in so many movies. We spoke about this in the video that I did for Westworld, and many other people like Nicholson 1968, who has an awesome channel and speaks about these kinds of things, man becoming God, the apotheosis of man, and how they think they're going to become gods and just falling for, all these lies of the devil. And, they love to make it seem so glamorous and sexy and all this kind of thing, but they will never have it. Man will never be God. Man will never, even if they merge with machine, it's not going to be successful. But these themes are constantly portrayed in these kinds of movies. And of course, even Chris Pratt, he's no stranger to these kinds of movies. He's played in Guardians of the Galaxy and other, New World Order, Space Age, this kind of space deception kind of nonsense that they love to show us. But let's just keep going in this trailer. The next scene, we see the starship Avalon, which is the name of this ship. And, I find it real interesting. Just if you just do a little numerology on Avalon, guess what it adds up to? And let's just take a look. So Avalon just so happens to add up to 65. And what does 6 and 5 add up to? It adds up to 11. And we know that 11 is the number of destruction in the Illuminati and the occult. Even, the Bible, Revelation 9:11, or sorry, Revelation 11:11, when the two witnesses come, and that particular verse is when the big earthquake hits. So 11 is always symbolized or associated with destruction. So interesting that the ship Avalon just so happens to add up to 11, the number for destruction. And as we keep going, we see major Cube of Saturn symbolism here. We've got it on the wall, on the two walls. He looks like he's walking through the pillars here. So the two walls showing the Cube of Saturn. We've got even on the wall up here more cubic symbolism. All right, so this is definitely, not by chance. The fact that we see this symbolism in so many instances. Then we've got another scene here that in the background, and this is something that is key, is always pay attention to what's going on in the background, because you will miss a lot of stuff. When I started waking up, I really started paying attention to the scenes and the symbols that are being shown in the background, that they love to get into our heads, subliminally. But of course, just like we saw in Westworld, we've got this six-pointed sprite kind of symbolism going on here. I believe this is really showing who is behind this. Of course, it's the same symbol that Walmart uses in its logo. All right, but really, this is nothing more than the Zionistic, Star of David, as they like to say, but it's not the Star of David at all. This is the Star of Remphan, as is noted in the book of Acts and noted many times in the Old Testament. This has come from the pagan temple of Solomon that he built thousands of years ago with Hiram, the king of Tyre. And so this is where this comes from. This is the hexagon. This is not the symbol of Israel. Okay, this is a satanic 666 hexagram. You've also got the cube of Saturn, of course, right inside this hexagram. So we can see that the Zionists, that the Illuminati are who are the people that are behind this nonsense that they constantly show us, and they want to get these symbols into our heads to keep programming us. And of course, as we keep going in the trailer, yet again more cubic symbolism, but this time it majorly looks like a hive, because they love to promote this hive mind. Okay, yet again, the transhumanism, they want people to be all linked up. They want people to be, they think it's freedom for all of us to have our brains linked up and to be of the same mind and to be linked into the same system. But that's the way that the devil wants to control people. He wants to take your DNA. He wants to change it so that he can control it. That is what the devil wants, because he knows that if man has free will, he will never have that worship that he desires, that he so craves. But if we're linked up to a system and we have no choice, the devil wants us to be robots. See, the Lord God doesn't want us to be robots. He never created us to be robots. But the devil, that's exactly what he wants to turn us into. He wants to turn us into something that will just blindly worship him, because he knows that man on his own will never do that. At least he won't be able to get all of us. All right, so that's really what I think is being shown here. This hive mind, it's exactly what the devil wants. And as we keep going, we see, of course, they love to show this destruction. I think it always symbolizes the destruction of the old world that is coming, and the rebirth of humanity, I think, is coming just around the corner. I really believe we're on the verge of that very event. Some big false flag is going to happen or something. In this scene, this is just speculation on my part, but to me, this kind of looks like the owl of Moloch with the two big circles here. It looks like eyes, looks like an owl head. Almost reminds me of Wall-E, or even when we did that video on the Apple iPhone 7 commercial, and a lot of owl of Moloch symbolism. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're showing here. As we go to the next scene, it's funny how we see this looks like one eye as the ship goes towards the sun. And interestingly enough, Aurora, who is the name of the character that Jennifer Lawrence plays, Aurora just so happens to be a Roman goddess, and she is known for renewing herself every morning and flies across the sky, announcing the arrival of the sun. Okay, so again, you can see major pagan god symbolism going on here. I think this is being portrayed in this particular scene as they're hurtling towards the sun, and Aurora being played by Jennifer Lawrence, the Roman goddess who announces the arrival of the sun. I believe this is just none other than good old Nimrod and Semiramis worship, or Baal and Isis worship, whatever you want to call it. I believe that is really what is going on here. And of course, what would a movie be without the black and white duality, as above, so below? All right. I mean, I think almost every movie I see now, or every trailer that I break down, there is some sort of black and white duality. Some is very major about, symmetry or reflections and showing this whole duality, as above, so below, or some of it, they don't show it as much. But of course, this movie shows that as well. As we keep going, they flash this particular machine, which to me totally reminds me of CERN. Major CERN one-eye symbolism going on here. Even the 88 is shown cryptically. Where if you add the points of this middle eye thing, that's definitely 8 on one side and 8 on the other side. Okay, so the 88, breaking of time and space, breaking of the veil. They want to bring hell on earth. They want to open the pit. That is exactly what I believe they're showing here, and we're not that close to that whole event that is going to come, because they are working on that frantically. Of course, we've got yet again more Cube of Saturn symbolism. They just can't get enough of this cube. They're really showing who they worship, because the cube, Saturn, all represents Satan. Okay, that's really what's being shown here. And as we go on later on this trailer, we see Jennifer Lawrence in basically this big bubble of water. Again, the water, so many movies and TV shows are showing this water and this rebirth symbolism. I believe this is all about humanity about to be reborn. All right. And, even as we look at, at water in Wicca, in the pagan beliefs. I found a good article from the White Goddess, of course, all about New Age stuff, but it says water is a feminine element. It is also the element of emotion and subconscious, of purification, intuition, mysteries of the self, compassion, and family. It is psychic ability. Water can be used as a means of scrying, and of course we spoke about that before, the scrying mirror, looking into the portal, looking into the spiritual world, all that kind of stuff like the Oculus, and bringing the demonic into our realm, or as an object for meditation. Water is important in spells and rituals of friendship, marriage, happiness, fertility, healing, pleasure, psychic abilities, and spells involving mirrors. All right, so basically, as we constantly see these water themes, that is what I believe they're showing us. This is a big deal in the occult, this whole theme of water, the rebirth. They want to paganize the rebirth that we have in Christ. We can only truly be reborn when we give our lives to Christ. And of course, that is always shown to us in these, but what these movie stars and actors do, and Hollywood entertainers and musicians, they love to show this rebirth, because they've been reborn into the devil's kingdom. They haven't been reborn into Christ's kingdom. And of course, many of us remember Katy Perry and her video Rise. Again, major water rebirth, womb of Isis kind of themes going on in that music video, which we showed in a previous video. But definitely this rebirth, this water, is something that is a major theme in the occult. And I also believe that this is also their way of cryptically talking about, yet again, the waters above the firmament, because we are held in by the firmament. We cannot go past it. NASA admits they can't get past the Van Allen belt, so they've never been to the moon. Then of course the waters above is the second heaven, where the dragon, the devil, Leviathan, chaos, whatever you want to call him, that is where he dwells, and that is where the fallen angels are going to come from very soon. I believe that the devil and his angels are going to be cast out of heaven, the dragon, and they are going to be cast out of the second heaven. Of course, that is always shown to us in so many of these space age movies, movies about aliens. Where do they come from? They always come from space. Water, they're going to come from the waters above, whether it's in spaceships, whether they're being made here on earth in preparation for the devil and his minions, but that is exactly where they are going to come from. So I believe this whole water theme also denotes the portal, denotes the fact of the place where the fallen angel Lucifer and the dragon and his fallen angels are going to come from. All right, so that is what I believe is being shown here. And constantly we are being shown these themes. And, I believe this is all leading to the great deception, as shown in 2 Thessalonians 2, because it says, from verse 9, that the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, and that they may all be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Okay, so the big deception is coming. I believe they are preparing the world for this deception. We know that the Pope has openly said that he would baptize aliens. Even the Jesuit priests like Guy Consolmagno and the heads of the Jesuit scientific community, they're constantly talking about aliens coming, and they're just preparing the world for this alien savior, or whatever you want to call it, the dragon being released, and then his son, the son of Satan, that is definitely coming, and I fully believe that is what we're being shown here. Many of us remember a movie, 2001, A Space Odyssey, that came out way back in the, I believe, 60s or 70s possibly, but we have come a long way in these movies, just the effects that they can do and how real they can make it seem. I fully believe that agencies like NASA and what is in cahoots with Hollywood, they're all in this together. They've been majorly fooling us about this whole space program and all these kinds of things. I honestly believe that space is just not real, and they've been wanting us to believe this so that they can bring about their agenda, whether it's about evolution, which has been leading to the whole climate change, and global warming, which is now going to lead to the alien deception and the asteroids and all that kind of nonsense. This is exactly what I believe we are being shown in many different ways. It's really nothing new. All of these things we're being shown has been going on for a long time. We spoke about some of these same things in the Miles from Tomorrowland video, the previous video that I did, and yet again, not only in movie forms for adults, but children's cartoons, books, music videos, all these same themes are being played out. And of course, yet again, the Cube of Saturn, there you go, yet again in the logo, the whole Saturn worship. This is nothing more than Satan worship. And of course, this is what it boils down to, the whole Saturn worship, black cube. And Nicholson has a great article on his website called, it's about the Cube of Saturn, basically how the whole world is under this spell. And he goes here, you might not know it, but the entire world has been worshiping Saturn for thousands of years. The cult has never stopped, and its rites are still present to this day. Saturn, dubbed the Lord of the Rings, is the reason why we exchange rings at weddings, put halos on the heads of godly people. This article exposes the attributes of the god Saturn and the perpetuation of his cult through pop culture. Since ancient times, sages gaze at the stars, admiring their heavenly glow, and attributing them godly powers based on their effect on humans. Before the Great Flood, Saturn was regarded by all mankind as the supreme god and ruler of the kings. Occult researchers affirm that Saturn ruled the kingdom of Atlantis and became the divine ancestor of all earthly patriarchs and kings. The cult has been perpetuated through numerous gods during antiquity. So Kronos or Saturn, Dionysus, Hyperion, Atlas, Hercules were all connected with a great Saturnian continent. They were kings that ruled over countries on the western shores of the Mediterranean, Africa, and Spain. In Egyptian mythology, Isis considered Saturn's eldest daughter. I am Isis, queen of this country. I was instructed by Mercury. No one can destroy the laws which I have established. I am the eldest daughter of Saturn, most ancient of gods. All right, so we can see yet again the Cube of Saturn, how the entire world is going after this, and really, this is just nothing new under the sun. Just as Ecclesiastes 1:6 speaks of, there is just nothing new under the sun. This is the same stuff that has been going on for so long. The Saturn cube of the worship of Saturn has been going on yet again, and what people think is the symbol of Israel is anything but. We've got the cube in so many different logos for Gateway, D-Wave, that I believe is a big part of CERN. It's been in many movies like Hellraiser, all this kind of stuff that we've been, fooled into believing. And, as we keep going, the final shot that I want to show you from this trailer, of course, the logo for this movie, Passengers, you've got the Masonic compass, and you've got the 666 symbolism right in the E's. And for those who are questioning, the reason why these three lines can represent 666 is if you look at the Hebrew character for 6, it is basically a line, and basically this is showing the 666 in a very cryptic way. And what I find really interesting is, guess when this movie comes out? It just so happens to be coming out on December 21st. And do we know what December 21st to the 25th is? It is basically Saturnalia, or Christmas. Okay, one of the most pagan days of the year. And of course, many Christians who aren't awake, they think that Christmas is a great thing, that it's about Jesus, or they think that we can take pagan days and redeem them and make them into Christian things. But really, God's word says in Deuteronomy that we are not to worship God as the pagans do. And of course, right here in this article, which I'll share, the Roman pagans introduced the holiday of Saturnalia, a week-long period of lawlessness celebrated between December 17th and 25th. And of course, this movie comes out on December 21st, so right in the period of Saturnalia. During this period, Roman courts were closed, and the Roman law dictated that no one could be punished for damaging property or injuring people during the week-long celebration. So basically, it's a week-long of chaos, all right? So the festival began when Roman authorities chose an enemy of the Roman people to represent the Lord of Misrule. Each Roman community selected a victim whom they forced to indulge in food and other physical pleasures throughout the week. At the festival's conclusion, on December 25th, good old Satan Day, Roman authorities believed they were destroying the forces of darkness, murdering this innocent man or woman. So they were not only did they do all kinds of chaos throughout that time, from the winter solstice beginning from the 17th to the 25th, but they did human sacrifice. They did all kinds of lewd things, drunkenness, orgies, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, you wonder why there's so much of Cube of Saturn worship going on. Because it's just all this. The whole world is worshiping Satan. The book of 1 John speaks of how the entire world is under the sway of the devil. And so even Christmas, it's real interesting that this movie is coming out right around the time of Saturnalia. And of course, with so much of Cube of Saturn worship in this movie, it just totally makes sense that it is coming out right around the time of Saturnalia. All right, so that's the video, guys. Thanks so much for checking it out. I really encourage you to, for those who haven't joined the In Plain Sight Facebook page, I thank all who have joined. We're having great discussions, and you are welcome to come on board and join in some of the posts. And of course, please be open-minded. You know, we cannot try and get people to believe what we say just because we say it. But as I always say, don't believe me. Just look into it for yourself. Study the word, test all things, as I like to say. And of course, you know, as we learn together, I believe that, you know, there's power in numbers. We can all share information. And at least until we can use the internet for good, let us keep doing that to spread information as much as possible. So I thank you again for checking out this video. And please keep watch as to what we are being shown in plain sight. God bless you.
There are two types of beings in the universe. Those who dance and those who do not.
I get it, yes. I am a dancer, Gamora is not.
You just need to find a woman who is pathetic. Like you.
Thanks, buddy.
Do you need a hug?
No, I do not.
Oh, I thought I said no. You're welcome.